Hi, my name's David Parker, and throughout my life I've had multiple spirit encounters with beings. I had a UFO sighting, and I'm now recording some of my stories I want to share. I just recently retired as an RN, almost 40 years, and 17 years I was a hospice nurse. I worked at several inpatient units for different hospices. At this one, it was in Mesa, Arizona. I was there for 9 years. We had a 10-bed inpatient unit, private rooms. We did a lot of end-of-life care there for terminally ill patients. Sometimes patients would come in and get symptom management. They would need their medications adjusted, pain control, and then they would go back home. But many of our patients came in just to die and have someone 24 hours there to support them. Sometimes the families were just exhausted. So we cared for the patients and the families. Very often we moved the families in too. Had like a little living room, and they'd be sleeping on the floor. One day when I came in, there was, of course, we had several admits on the shift prior, and there was this one woman. I never did get to really meet her because she was non-responsive by the time I got there. Her respirations were labored, and she was definitely there for end-of-life care, like so many of our patients, and, we gave her the best support we possibly could. There was something special about this woman. I just liked her. And though she never said a word, there was just a connection that I felt with her. I felt very good around her. So we would start at the beginning of the hall and go down and take care of every one of our patients and turn them and give them pain medications or whatever they needed, and circle around, do some paperwork, and then go back and we really took good care of our hospice patients. Somebody needed something special down at the end of the hallway. I was walking down the hall to take care of that patient. And when I would walk down the hall, I would look in the rooms, just kind of check briefly on all the patients. And here was this woman, probably in her 70s, as I recall, sitting on the side of the bed. The side rails were down. And she was sitting on the side of the bed, and she looked about half her age. Her hair looked nice. She had the gown on. She had her legs hanging there. And I thought, hey, doing good. And I just keep walking. And then I stop and I think, wait a minute. She's actively dying. And also, when I took care of her prior, maybe 30 minutes before, I noticed she only had one leg. One of her legs had been amputated right at the hip. And it was an old surgery because it was well healed. And when I just looked in the room, she had two legs. I thought, wait a minute. So I'm walking backwards, taking a couple steps back, thinking, what did I see? And I look in and check on her, and she's back in bed, flat. The side rails are up. She's doing what's called chain stroke respirations, which is it's almost like agonal breathing towards the end of life. It sounds struggling, but it's not as bad as it sounds. And of course, we have oxygen and morphine and the suction patients, and we took good care of them. But here was this woman, now she looked old again, wasn't speaking, was 100% total care, and she had one leg. And I thought, are you practicing leaving the body? Is spirit like being like the butterfly when it gets out of the cocoon and it just starts unraveling the wings and letting them dry out and stretch them and get a feel for flying? I just felt like, she's practicing. She's getting ready to go. And she shared that with me. And oh my God, I felt like I won the lottery. It's like, oh, what a great feeling that she did that. And that I got to see it. And she was smiling at me and I was smiling at her. I said, well, go for it. Go for it. You're ready. And we took care of her and took care of all our patients. And at the end of the shift, I went home. And when I got home, went through the front door and I'm going down the hallway, there she is standing in my hallway. She looked about 35 years old. Her hair was done, looked great. I forget what she was wearing. I think a robe or something like that. Had two legs, and she was just beaming, just smiling. you just have never seen somebody as happy in your life. And I looked at her and I just smiled back and I thought, thank you. Thank you for sharing this with me. Thank you for showing me this. And then she just faded away. And I went to the phone and I called work and I said, you need to check on the patient in room 2. I think she just died. And they put the phone down. The nurse put the phone down and went into the room and then came back and said, yeah, she's dead. How'd you know? And I said, I just saw her in my hallway. And I told her what I saw and how happy she was. And I think at the shift change, I told them about seeing her sitting on the side of the bed and everybody's thinking, oh, that's cool. And it was just a blessing. What an incredible blessing that she gave me by sharing her soul getting ready to leave the body. And that's something I have kept with me my whole life. I have shared that story with many, many people. I'm sharing it with you. And there's more coming. Thanks.